Deputy President. I certainly rise to stand and support Senator McMahon's bill for territory rights for the people of the Northern Territory and for the people of the ACT. Could I just put on the record, though, Madam Acting Deputy President, what a load of rubbish, some of the words that came from Senator Seselja. This bill would not have come before the Senate if it had not been for the Australian Labor Party pushing for Senator McMahon's bill to come before the Senate. Why? Because the federal government, the coalition government, the Prime Minister himself has intervened to stop Senator McMahon to be able to bring anything to this Senate, which is outrageous, Madam Acting Deputy President, absolutely outrageous. It is systemic of this government to bully, to intimidate, to antagonise and to stop the rights of people having their democratic say, in particular here in the Parliament of Australia, to be able to have their rights to speak in the House, to speak here in the Senate. Senator McMahon brought this bill on with great sincerity on behalf of the people of the Northern Territory. And this bill should have been listed well before this government was forced to bring it in 5 minutes before the bells rang this morning. Why did they do that, Madam Acting Deputy President? They did it because they had no choice. They knew that there was support for Senator McMahon's bill because we want to see in the Northern Territory Parliament and the ACT Parliament the ability for those members in those parliaments to debate these laws. Why is it, Madam Acting Deputy President, that the people of the Northern Territory and the ACT are second-class citizens? Why is it that nearly every other state parliament in this country can debate laws for end of days? You know, why are we afraid to enable the people of the Northern Territory and the ACT to do exactly that? For me personally, I don't support voluntary assisted dying. It is not something that I would want to see. But I support very much the right of the people of the Northern Territory and indeed the Northern Territory Parliament to debate itself. The right, the democratic right, where they can argue, where they can speak passionately about issues impacting or possibly affecting their very own constituents who put them in there. So why do we think we have to be the big brother or the big sister stopping the people of the ACT and the Northern Territory to be able to debate what happens at the end of life for their families, brothers and sisters, their mothers and fathers, to be able to speak with the medical fraternity, to be able to talk to the aged care, to be able to talk to the churches? Why are we afraid to enable them to do that? And yet we expect the people of those territories to do everything else this parliament says. You know, as Senator Gallagher pointed out, the Prime Minister keeps throwing everything back to the state and territory premiers. Oh, you're responsible for quarantining. You're responsible to put people in the hotels. It's interesting, isn't it? What it is this parliament, and I think Senator Waters actually raised that point, this parliament likes to dictate what it can and can't do in the territories. And yet here we have a government senator, a very courageous government senator, backbencher, who has not only stood up to her colleagues, both in the Nationals and the Liberals for the people of the Northern Territory on this particular bill coming forward today, but she also fought with me to save the seat of Lingiari so that we could have 2 seats in the Northern Territory and not revert back to 1. And again, the bullying and harassment that went on to prevent Senator McMahon from even being able to do that is absolutely outrageous. And these are the reasons why people do not stand for politics. These are the reasons why women in particular think twice about standing for politics. It's an absolute disgrace that members on that side have not given the Territory Senator for the Country Liberal Party the support that she needed to get this bill here into the Senate, and the support and the respect and dignity to be able to speak. There's only 2 of us, for goodness sake. There's 12 of you in every other state. 12 senators, all bullying one on your side. Is that an indication of what you think of the people of the territories? Because that's the only thing we can take away from that. If this is how you treat your senator, then no wonder the people of the Northern Territory and the people of the ACT think they don't matter, that their voice is not important, because that is the only image you give when you do that, not only to this particular bill, but to the particular senator who has tried to bring it forward. And I commend Senator McMahon for doing this. As I've said, I do not support voluntary assisted dying. I have my personal reasons for that. But I will fight vehemently for the rights of the Northern Territory Parliament and the ACT to be able to debate it, most passionately, with great maturity, with great compassion. So I urge senators here today to realise the significance of this moment in this parliament this year, and the fact that we've had to, as the Labor opposition, force this private senator's bill to the floor this morning. Next year it will be 100 years when the Northern Territory was able to have its first member in the Australian Parliament. 100 years. And that was 1 seat. We've only got 2 seats in terms of Solomon and Lingiari. So our voices have not grown significantly at all. Do not diminish us just because you can. Do not silence us just because you can. And do not bully us just because you think you can, because that will not be tolerated. With this particular bill, Ensuring Northern Territory Rights Bill, we'd certainly like to see the amendments come forward, Madam Acting Deputy President, in terms of the 2 aspects that Labor does not support, and that is not because we don't support Territory Rights Bill. We have had this discussion with the senator opposite that the Australian Labor Party has concerns about the Fair Work rights aspect of it, and obviously the aspects around the land. And I understand when Senator McMahon does move those 2 amendments from it, we will absolutely be supporting this bill wholeheartedly, and certainly Senator Katie Gallagher will be moving to include the ACT. And I think it's really interesting to observe Senator Seselja's comments around this. Senator Katie Gallagher was no way in all reluctant to see this bill come forward. In fact, it's her bill, her private senator's bill, that's been removed completely from today's debate. In fact, not sure when we'll get it back on again. I mean, who knows? Are we coming back after these parliamentary sittings? Will we be here before the next election? Who knows? But Senator Gallagher has willingly given up her spot on a very, very important senator's bill for her to enable this debate to take place. So whatever Senator Seselja has to say on it really shows little comfort at all, if any, to the fact that he's had any willingness to support the territories to be able to have their rights empowered again in these parliaments so that that discussion and debate can take place. And I think shame on you, Senator Seselja, for trying to bring to this Senate such disrepute in saying that you brought this bill on this morning, that it was the government. No, it wasn't. Not at all. This was us. This was completely the Labor Party. And this was done because we fairly believe in the sincerity of Senator McMahon's bill to improve the rights for the people of the ACT and the Northern Territory. I think, Madam Acting Deputy President, one of the things that I'm acutely aware of, should this bill pass, that there will be passionate debate, in particular in the Northern Territory. I know that with over 100 Aboriginal languages there, the importance of communication, the importance of being able to understand what the ability to debate this in the Northern Territory Parliament would mean. It would come back to the 25 members of the Legislative Assembly in the Northern Territory to discuss and debate, and I have no doubt that each and every one of those 25 members of the Northern Territory Assembly will have to dig deep. They will have to dig deep and find out where do they stand on this issue of voluntary assisted dying. It has been over 2 decades since the Northern Territory led the way, and I have to say, and agree with Senator McMahon's comments there, that it was the Northern Territory that courageously brought this forward well ahead of its time. You know, were we mad? Were we crazy? Were we all these things? Well, let's have a look at the state parliaments around the country who have now had their own debates, and no doubt every single parliamentarian in each of those states that have debated end of life have no doubt dug deep to find out what it means for them and their conscience and their family and their Christian beliefs and their ability to sit comfortably or uncomfortably with it. But that's because we're a democracy. Isn't that what we pride ourselves on as Australians? Isn't that the one thing that really does hold us together? The belief in our ability to speak respectfully. And I have to raise that because there are many views of late in thinking that shouting at people, threatening people and bullying people is democracy. Well, that's not democracy. It's not the democracy I want, that's for sure. It's the ability to stand up and agree to disagree. It's the ability to listen respectfully, but also know that in this particular instance, it's about the Senate, the House of Reps and parliamentarians at the Australian government level realising that sometimes democracy is also about letting go. Let go of the power you hold on to so fiercely in this place and let the peoples of the Northern Territory and the ACT be able to make up their own minds and have the right to do so.
Thank you.